Welcome to the RuPaul's Drag Race Recap Show for All Stars Season 3, Episode 7, titled My Best Squirrel Friend's Dragsmaid's Wedding Trip. My name is Joe Betance, and I am joined, as always, by one quixotic co-host. From the podcast pod is my co-pilot. Please say...
Girl, get ready. They gonna meet me your ass to death, bitch.
To Taylor... the Latte Boy. Hello, Taylor the Latte Boy.
Hello. We are almost done with All Stars 3.
And then we get to go into the 13 weeks of Season 10.
Season 10. Is it 13 weeks?
I think so, yeah. 13 or 14 weeks.
How many queens are there?
I don't know.
I didn't go to fucking school for math.
Because I don't even know most of their names yet. I'm so behind on, because I'm so caught up in All Stars 3 that I haven't had a chance to really focus on. I know the names of a couple of them, but I don't know who's who or anything. I did see the list for the judges this for season 10.
Let me see how many I can name. I don't think I can name all of them, but let's see how many I can do. I can do Calorie Kardashian Williams, Vanessa Mateo. Then there's this. Vanessa.
Can I add them as I know them too?
Oh, like who do you want to add?
The Vixen.
Okay, the Vixen. Then there's Mayhem Miller from out here. Then there's this Cameron Michaels that everyone loves because he's hot as a boy. Then there's Aquaria, who I think is hot as a boy.
Okay. Is it Blair St. Clair?
Oh, Blair St. Clair, who met our pal Evan Ayres, and according to Evan Ayres, who was blackout drunk, was hitting on him.
Oh.
Yeah, whatever.
That's the only reason I know her name, because of Jay.
And then there's also Ms. Cracker.
Ms. Cracker.
Yes, and
Isn't
then we
there
get Asia O'Hara, and then there's Yahuwah.
Eureka, who we actually have talked to.
Eureka O'Hara, and then
so were there two O'Haras?
Yeah.
Oh
yeah. Mm-hmm.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Fine. So So I mean, I am going to watch I pre-bought season 10, but I know that comes usually with the Meet the Queens where they show all the videos, but they show it all in like a 25-minute thing. So I will watch that at some point and feverishly take notes.
Yeah, listener Jordan Darling wanted to know if we were going to do a Meet the Queens episode. I told him how we were going to do it, which is if they release if they don't release the workroom entrances early, we'll do the Meet the Queens from the video. We'll release it a couple days early. But then otherwise, we're going to do the episode, because they usually release what they have been doing is showing the workroom entrances like on Monday.
Yeah.
So we'll do that, release that early, and then do the rest of the show on Thursday. But how's everything going with you? What did you, before we even go into this, like I was telling Taylor, like it's so funny how last week it was like, we don't have time to talk because, there was so much happening. I mean, I'm not even joking. I was able to squeeze so many episodes out of this show. We had the main show, then we came out with a bonus show. Then
we talked for like an hour about 5 minutes worth of the show.
Yeah, and then I did a whole Rulaska Thoughts episode that I released yesterday. And that was 45 minutes long, and that was just about one segment as well, about the workroom table.
Yeah.
And I just literally broke down every argument and gave receipts about how this person was wrong and that person was wrong, and did a whole episode breaking that down for our Patreon members. So and I still feel we didn't waste any time. There was so much to dissect in that episode. This one, I'm like, I have no idea what I'm gonna do.
I know. I was watching it the whole time, like, this is so filler. This is so filler. But it's you need, after a monumental moment like last episode, you kind of need to sort of ride this out, especially as we get into the finale. You need to have a moment to take a breath and just kind of watch a subpar acting challenge. And then, you go into the finale next week.
Anyway, anything going on in the world of Taylor the Latte Boy that we haven't missed? I mean, like...
Let's see. What is going on with Taylor the Latte Boy? I went to the Saturday morning market this week in downtown St. Petersburg. That was exciting. And I spent money on foods that I wouldn't normally spend money on because I felt like the barefoot Contessa walking around.
Oh, like your feet smell?
Yes, like I had smelly feet and I was wearing a shent. Not a shirt, not a tent, but a shent.
As we all know, I feel like the barefoot contestant looks like her feet smell. And then she walks around. And then you know what, too? That like when she's sitting there with her husband, what's his name? Gary or something like that?
Jeffrey.
Jeffrey. And they're like watching whatever fucking goddamn horrible show they watch, you know? And then she like puts her feet on his lap and like wiggles her toes.
She does not do that. She does not do that.
How do you know?
Well, they don't show it. How about that? They don't show it. I love Ina and Jeffrey. They look like they have like a wonderful, happy marriage.
Who's your favorite person on this Food Network?
On Food Network?
Yeah.
The only one that I watch I used to watch a bunch of them with my ex. He was a big Food Network fan. So we would often spend Saturday and Sunday mornings watching Paula Deen and Rachel Ray and Ina Garten. We would usually stop when it got to Alton Brown because neither one of us were big Alton Brown fans. But Ina Garten is my favorite one. She's like the last one left. All the rest of them now it's her and the Pioneer Woman, who is the blandest. She should just make white bread with mayonnaise like every single week because she's just horrible. And the fucking Guy Fieri, he's the worst. He ruined my Food Network experience. They do occasionally have Cupcake Wars on though, and Cupcake Wars is on at night. And the guy who is the host of that is really cute. He's very much of I forget his name. He's in some horrible gay movie with Anthony Rapp and the girl that was Willow on Buffy. And they show trailers for it on Facebook every once in a while. And the only reason I watch the trailer is because he's in it, but the rest of it just looks like a total shit show. Go ahead, do your thing. I see you smirking, so just go ahead.
This week, the girls process Ben's self-elimination, meet Nancy Pelosi, and participate in an acting challenge. On the main stage, the girls swept the stage in their best Lady in Red couture. Trixie Mattel and Shangela Laquifa Watley were named the winners of the challenge, while the remaining queens were placed in the bottom. After a lip-sync battle for their legacies, Shangela defeated Trixie and was named the winner of the lip-sync, and used her privilege to send Morgan McMichaels, her dear friend, home packing. Taylor, name 2 things you liked about the episode and 1 thing you did not.
All right. The 2 things that I liked about the episode was the looks on Trixie Mattel's face when Nancy Pelosi was talking. That there was something very genuine and where he was clearly very touched at the fact that she was standing there talking to all of them. And that was just nice to see because so often when they're all standing there, they kind of all have that where they, it's clear that somebody has told them, now look surprised or look confused or look, or arch an eyebrow. That seemed like a genuine moment, as did when Morgan turned around and saw her and kind of did where she put her hands, which went, oh my God, like it was a big deal. So that, I liked that. The other thing that I liked, and I'm definitely jumping ahead. No, I'm not going to jump ahead for the one thing, but I'm going to jump ahead for the other thing. Shangela's lip sync. That is an instant classic lip sync for your legacy. We were both laughing really hard and just enjoying everything about that. We were living for that. So that is definitely something that I really loved. The thing that I did not like, I didn't like the acting challenge. It felt like they kind of showed you making the trailer, like the 20 minutes or the 10 minutes that they showed, like where they all came in. They used like all of that footage, and it just seemed like a wasted challenge. I did not like this, but I'm not a big fan of most of their acting challenges, especially when they have them all work in one big group. What about you?
Okay, I want to say a couple of things here. One, the person that you are talking about who hosts Cupcake Wars, isn't his name Justin Williman? Is that his name?
No, his name's Jeffrey something, I think. Hold on, I'll look it up.
Who's the he's a magician, but he changed his name. He used to go by the name Justin Credible, which is so fucking stupid.
Oh, that's gross.
And I thought he hosted Cupcake Wars. Well, maybe he left Cupcake Wars. Maybe it's no longer. I think
they have more than one. The guy that I am talking about, let me see. Hold on. Okay, that is not his name.
What do you mean?
I thought he went by something else.
What's his name on the according to the
It
internet?
says Justin Williman.
Which I just said.
No, I know. I get that, Josephina, but
Okay, that's it. We're ending the show.
Jonathan Bennett.
Oh, who's he?
Well, that's the name that he goes by on. Okay. I'm confused because Justin Bennett and okay, who's this asshole? That's not who I. Okay, there's one that has kind of crazy hair, and there's one that's got big eyebrows. I like the one with the big eyebrows, and I thought his name was Jonathan Bennett because he also apparently played Aaron Samuels in Mean Girls.
I don't know. I don't watch his Cupcake Wars.
Okay, he's cute. He's very my type. He's very clean cut. He's very vanilla. Get it? Cupcake Wars. He's very vanilla.
How many different kind of wars can they have of the cupcakes?
There's Cupcake Wars and there's Donut Wars. Mm-hmm. And occasionally they do things with donuts, but the donut wars are always, actually the Cupcake Wars are kind of stupid too, but it's always something like, for this challenge, you have to make a cupcake that's inspired by the Grinch. So you can use cinnamon, vanilla, and canned peas. You have 30 minutes. Go. It's always like weird. Like they try to combine sweet and savory, and there's always some like, I don't want to talk about the contestants, but I like looking at him. He's kind of cute. He's kind of dorky. That is my wheelhouse. That is what I like. I like cute and dorky, and I definitely like big, thick eyebrows. And I'd like him on top of me doing things to me. That's, feeding me cupcakes the whole time.
Playing with your muffin top.
Playing with my muffin top, exactly.
Do you think this Justin Williman is cute?
Not as cute as Jonathan Bennett.
I feel Justin Williman, I don't know his sexuality at all, but he looks very gay to me. Well,
Jonathan Bennett is gay.
Okay.
To the best of my knowledge.
There's another magician. For those of you listening, I'm a member of this organization called the Magic Castle in Hollywood. It's a private club for magicians. I know it. I'm sorry. I'm embarrassed. Anyway, there's another guy. He has a TV show too. He's cute as well. I think he's gay. But I can't remember what the TV show is called, where he goes and like does pranks on people. You know what I'm talking about?
Carbonara Effect?
Yeah, Michael Carbonara. Yeah, I see him at the Magic Castle all the time.
The Huffingtons are a big fan of that show.
I see him at the Magic Castle all the fucking time.
Really?
Oh, yeah. He's super cute, but I'm always like...
kind of cute.
I think he plays for our team. It's a guess. This is just from watching him walk around and talk to people and stuff like that.
When he skips from room to room?
Yeah, when he just goes, ta-da, when he walks in the room.
And shoves glitter out of a glitter butt plug out of his butt, and then like hits everybody with it like it's a magic wand.
Yeah. And you know what this reminds me of too? You ever seen this Ace of Cakes or shows like that? Every time I watch these shows, I'm like, I would never hire this guy. There's every cake I have this guy make is gonna be in danger of falling down, or like it doesn't get to the event or anything like that. Like,
that's the drama. That's whenever you watch the baking championships, where they have to bake something and then they have to move it from the table to the presentation table, and it's always like it's always the last 5 minutes of it. That's always the part where you're just like, oh god, and inevitably one always falls and everybody's disappointed. Oh, some housewife who's doing private baking out of her kitchen in Omaha, Nebraska, couldn't get the Disney Magic Castle just right, so it tips over, and then everyone is crestfallen for a second. It's drama. It's exciting. I live for this shit.
What does it say when I'd rather talk about that than this episode?
It says a lot about the episode.
Yeah,
there were some good moments to the episode. There were some
good moments. Look, the show is always entertaining. I'm never bored watching the show.
Yeah.
All right. But this was not necessarily their best episode. Did you tell me the one thing you didn't like?
I didn't like the acting challenge. I didn't like the challenge.
Yeah. So that's my same thing I didn't like. I didn't like the acting challenge at all. It was just not funny at all.
And what did you like?
I liked the moment where Kennedy, that I played in the beginning, where she said, girl, they're going to meme this or whatever.
Well, that was at the end. That wasn't at the beginning.
It doesn't have to be at the beginning.
Oh, the beginning of this episode. I'm sorry.
They gonna meme your ass to death, bitch.
Yeah, I thought that was super, super funny.
Now, did you like that because that's vindication for your theory that BB has not watched any other season of Drag Race?
We're going to get to that. We are going to fucking get to that. Bitch. Yeah. And then also the runway looks. I like the runway looks across the board.
I am very, very plus on a couple of them and very not crazy.
Oh, really? There were some you didn't like. Oh, interesting.
Okay. Do you want to just do the runway looks first? So we kind of get it out of the way. Can we just?
Yeah, we could do that if you want.
In your walk, head to toe, let your whole body talk.
Welcome to the look segment of RuPaul's Drag Race Recap. Joe Betance, how are you doing this evening?
Hey, kitty girl. I read you, wrote you.
We've never done that before. We need to start making that a thing. That needs to become a thing. Okay. All right. So I am doing this from memory because I did not have my phone with me to take pictures of the screen. But I can tell you that I know BB came out first, and BB was wearing a red kind of like business suit looking thing that was sort of bejeweled, and then she had on a mask with a hood. And then had her hair, had like long straight hair that kind of came out the back. She eventually took the mask off to show her face. This was not one of my favorite looks. However, the jewels over the eyes, I loved them. And the detail of the makeup around the jewels. I was watching her when they were doing the mirror moment, kind of drawing black lines to kind of accentuate around the gems. And I thought that was great. But as far as the look goes, I give this look a boot.
Yeah, she's like gay daredevil.
Okay.
And I felt like Nina Bonina's brown was not super similar, but it had the same sort of feel to it. Last were the first look she wore that she won that competition for.
With the lace?
With the lace, but it covered her face and everything like that.
But how would BB know? Because as we found out later, BB hasn't watched any of the seasons. So
I knew she didn't watch the season. It made sense. Like, I can't remember why I knew that. I would give it, actually, from what I've seen in the pictures, a toot.
Okay.
I don't
so
hate
one boot, one toot. All right. Yeah. So next up that I can remember off the top of my head is Kennedy Davenport. Kennedy was wearing a very bejeweled pageant gown, had large black, almost like a pompadour type hair. This would be my second boot of the night because the dress was not flattering to her figure. It definitely, anytime they showed side angles or 3/4, we definitely had the pooch belly. I thought maybe if she would cinch her waist or do something, it might be a little bit more flattering. I mean, it's a pretty enough dress, but it's also kind of basic. So I gave this look a boot as well.
Okay, well, here's the deficiency that I have is that I'm looking, the pictures that I snapped really fast don't show her from the side. So I'm only seeing the front, and from the front, it looks fantastic. And I love the wig. I'm going to give it a toot.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
So next up was Shangela. And Shangela came out in a dress that slowly inflated over time over the walkway, which I'm surprised that nobody really commented on that when she was walking down the runway. But I loved the effect. I thought it was definitely, it stepped out of a box. It was something that you could talk about and remember. So I gave this look, while it wasn't necessarily super flattering, it got your attention, and it was something that was a very wow moment. So for that I gave it a toot.
All right. Like I thought that they would go like, this outfit blows.
Yeah. So she really spiked the competition.
Yeah. I don't know, something about inflation. I don't know. She's full of hot air. Okay, go on. Moving on. Oh, what do I think of it? I like it. You know, I'm so busy like taking notes and taking the pictures and stuff that I didn't get to see it, and I'll see it in full effect tomorrow. But like, I didn't get to see it in full effect. But I still give it a toot. I like it.
Yeah. Okay. So next up, I'm not sure which one I want to go first. Let's do Trixie. Okay. Trixie came out kind of like a naughty librarian, where she had on a Armis Brooks type blouse with latex shorts and big blonde hair, and she had books attached to the top kind of as a hat or a fascinator. I fucking loved this look. I thought she looked amazing. And something that I would not normally say about Trixie, especially when she was sitting with Deliberation, the way the hair was kind of messy and stuff, she kind of looked hot. So I love this look. I gave it a toot. Big toot.
Yeah, I like it too. I don't know if I like it as much as you did, but like I do like it, and I love that the books are the hat, and she incorporated the apple, which is red, with her outfit, which looks almost like a soda fountain kind of thing, soda jerk. I give it a big toot.
All right. And then finally, we had Morgan McMichaels, who came out very slutty Mary Queen of Scots with her plaid and her makeup and her 40s inspired hair. I fucking lived for this look. This is because it is so different from what she normally does, and I thought she looked amazing. I loved the hair. I loved the plaid. I loved the kind of diminished makeup. I always like Morgan whenever I've watched like YouTube videos of her lip syncing and stuff. I have a lot of respect for her, but this look was possibly one of my favorite looks of the season.
Wow.
Yeah, this was anytime she was on camera in deliberations and stuff afterwards, I couldn't take my eyes off of her. So huge toot for Morgan.
Really, for me, it's just a toot.
All right. Well, and do we want to talk about RuPaul's makeup?
Do we want to talk about RuPaul's wig?
It looked, and the dress, like the whole thing was just sort of a mess.
The wig looked like she was about to go out, and Delta was like, "Oh my god, we forgot to put your wig on." And wait, stop! Yeah, you don't have a wig on. That's what it kind of looked like. I noticed it. Let me tell you how noticeceable it was when they do the far away shot, the wide shot.
You know how noticeable it was? Joe noticed. And that's how.
You know what? You're right. But on the wide shot, when she's like a little dot, and she had her hand up, or she's coming in, I could see how far back it was from the wide shot, and I was like, "Oh, bitch."
Okay, so you got that. You have the makeup, which looks like somebody blew paprika in her face, where it was just
who's paprika?
Horrible... Huh?
Who's paprika?
And the dress was that was a situation where she wasn't wearing the dress was wearing her. That thing was so fucking structured that it was almost like you almost expected to see the wheels under it, where she almost looked like a float. Because it was like moving independently of her, but not in a good way. And it was just, she's had some great looks this season. This was not a good week for RuPaul.
I'll tell you, it was a good week for her. I wanted to have sex with this Chris Colfer so bad.
Really?
Oh, Chris Colfer. The only thing that used to dissuade me was he used to talk like this, and clearly his balls dropped since Glee ended, and so now he's more like this. It's okay, I can do that. And I was like, girl, you can get it. I love Chris Colfer.
Okay, all right, so I'm going to say something that's going to probably nauseate you, but
yeah.
I kind of think Ross Matthews is cute.
No. I'm going to tell you something, actually. One of the things I don't get is if you ever meet Ross Matthews in person, which it's funny that I've interviewed some of these. I interviewed Ross Matthews at DragCon last year. And I've seen him around before, too. He's always around LA or Palm Springs a lot, actually. And I know there's the whole, the camera adds 10 pounds, blah, 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 blah. But it's very it's striking when you meet him how he's not as heavy as he looks on TV.
Well, and I was going to talk about that because I know that he was just on Trixie and Katya's show where they interviewed him for a bit. I watched a bit like when I was going through Twitter and watching him where he was sitting in the director's chair this week. He looks like he's gained weight. He looks like this, like since All Stars 3 taped. Not that I'm a big girl, so that's, whatever. But he looks like somebody who I would like very much to like make out with. Like I would really like to have a makeout session with Ross Matthews.
I'm not saying he's like a skinny mini, but if you ever met Ross Matthews, you would think, oh, he's a lot thinner than I thought he was. So that means if I was ever on the show, I would look like, you know those laughing cow cheeses? You know that one I'm talking about? The little laughing cow?
Meaning actually just the round actual cheese?
Yeah, the round cheese, the little round cheese. And then you take it out of the wax, and then you like ball it up, and then you throw it away. I would look like the balled up wax The discarded wax from a little laughing cow cheese, a baby Bell Gouda or whatever they're called.
Okay. And that was Self-Esteem Moment with Joe Betance. So those were the looks.
After Ben's elimination, the girls try to process what happened with Ben's self-elimination and why Ben made the decision she did. Back on the workroom couch, Bibi Zahara Benet is reluctant to reveal who she would have sent home.
Bibi, whose lipstick did you pull? Out of respect for Della, I'm not going to reveal who I was going to send home or I was going to bring in.
Just so everybody knows, so don't come asking me. We do this every week, girl. You know what I say?
And I would just really, really appreciate if everybody just let that be.
She's not gonna tell.
Let's not talk about it then. Thank you.
Taylor, what are your thoughts on this behavior?
I thought it was, I get why she did it. Because at that point, everybody has a bullseye on their back. So you're not going to set it up that you do this and then, you're the bottom three and they go, oh, well, bitch was going to send me home, so I'm sending her home first. I also, I think it was, that being said, I think it was a weak ass move. She's been doing so well, according to her, at the end of this episode. So really at this point, there's no reason to hide your cards. Just put them out. Put him out and say he was out there. Because, ultimately, though, she could potentially have been pissing off two people. Because if she didn't pick Morgan to come back, then that pisses off Morgan. And if she was going to send one of the other three home, then that's two potential saboteurs to her legacy.
I see what you mean. I'm not even necessarily against the fact that she didn't want to show who her lipsticks were. I get that. It's sort of the way she does it. It's just the way she does it is so obnoxious.
Well, I have a feeling that we saw a very truncated version of... to show. Well, I'm sure they were all trying to get her to show the lipsticks, and they just kind of cut it down. Because there was I decided I'm not talking about it, thank you, and was just very curt. But you don't start off that curt after you do that.
I think she does. I'll tell you why. I want you to hear something here. I'm going to play the clip again, and then I'm going to stop it when we get to Trixie, just so you know, because I have to listen to these, so you listen carefully. You can tell when Trixie says something in the middle, you'll hear, it's not said then. In fact, on the show, they cut away from her face. So it's clear she didn't say it then. No,
it sounds like she said it during the interview.
Yeah, during the confessional. You're right. Here we go.
Right.
Bibi, whose lipstick did you pull?
Okay, boring.
Out of respect for Della.
Respect for Della.
I'm not going to reveal who I was going to send home.
Yeah. Okay. Here we go.
Or I was going to bring
Here
in.
it comes.
Just so everybody knows, so don't come asking me. We do this every week, girl.
You see that nope, she didn't say that right then. I'm gonna go back right here.
Right.
Listen, and then you're gonna hear it changes.
We do this every week, girl. You know what I say?
You see, she just said you don't want to say. She said you don't want to say in front of her, but she didn't say you do this every week, girl. You're right. That's from a confessional.
Yeah.
So what I'm saying is, if they were bugging her for a long time, they wouldn't need to pull audio from a confessional. They'd have the audio that they need. This BB is a problem. She's full of herself.
And we're not going to have it.
And I'm not going to have it. Not on this show. Not on any show.
Send her home.
Yeah. Off with her
head.
Where's
her lipstick? Where's her lipstick?
I don't like it. I wanted to put that clip on. She's so ugh. I don't like her. I want her off the show. I don't think... If she wins, I'll be so mad. The next day, RuPaul enters the workroom with a very special guest, House Minority Leader Nancy Pelosi.
Well, when I got the invitation to visit the workroom...
She has no idea where she is. You know that, right?
I know. That's so clear. She does
Can
not
she
know
even
where
pause
she
it?
is.
I'm going to play it back. She's so like, where am I again? She goes like, when I got the invitation to visit the workroom, like, and do you think she even knows they're drag queens?
She's got to know they're drag queens. I think she probably was like, oh, I was expecting pretty girls. I mean, I
feel that's why she's there in that workroom, because they're like, no, Miss Pelosi will not be seen with drag queens, because the opportunities for someone to show pictures of her.
And my thought is, though, I mean, even just the fact that she was on the show is going to be used as ammunition against her. by conservatives. I would think that, she's hanging out with deviants and she's hanging,
but she's the representative from San Francisco. She's safe as can be.
Well, I know. But on the national picture, I would think that you're going to get some of these people that are going to look at her. She's hanging out with, those people.
Well, when I got the invitation to visit the workroom, I couldn't resist.
Wait, did somebody just say resist?
Resist.
Yeah. And then she does like the black, isn't that the Black Panther sign?
She wasn't doing the Black Panther thing. She had on a rainbow band that she was showing.
Oh, is that what she was doing?
Yes.
I thought she was doing the fist.
No, she was showing, it looked like she had it looked like an Apple Watch band, actually. But because it looked like there was a buckle to it. But yeah, she kind of held up her wrist to show that because they probably did it where she probably said resist. Well, then resist that it looks like she's trying to fist somebody. But if it showed the Apple Watch, I'm sure they can't do that because then it's a brand, it's a free commercial.
All right, here we go.
To be here. You're an inspiration, I hope you know, because you really know your power. It's about taking pride, and that's what you do, take pride in yourself, so you know your power.
And don't forget to vote.
Voting is everything. I mean, people sacrifice so much in our country for people to have the right to vote. It's a blessing, but we have to use it. If you don't vote, you don't count, and you count.
Now, let me ask you this question, Taylor. Would you cry if Nancy Pelosi walked into wherever?
No, I figured you were going to ask that. Okay. I don't know that I would cry for Nancy Pelosi. I think if I was in a small room like that and I was not expecting somebody that I truly respected for what they did for me, as it appears that Trixie respects what Nancy Pelosi does for our country and our community. I could see where that could be emotional. Plus, they're also doing these like 16-hour days for 3 weeks too. So that might have played a small role in it as well. I think, if I could see myself using this, using this example, if you had somebody like, I already
have examples.
Okay. All right. Go ahead.
Like if Ruth Bader Ginsburg walked into the workroom.
That's a good one.
I could see myself crying because here's the thing. This is no offense against Nancy Pelosi. I'm a Democrat, a hardcore Democrat. I want to see her as a Speaker of the House. I'm not coming down on Nancy Pelosi. However,
people are unsubscribing left and right.
I know. Well,
once you just announce you're a Democrat, all of our Republican listeners, the thousands and thousands of them, unsubscribe.
Oh, there's a listener of ours who I was actually like sneaking on his. I was stalking his Twitter account, and I found out he's a secret Republican.
Twink listeners everywhere just paused for a second.
What?
Log cabin Republicans.
So this Nancy Pelosi, she's just a standard issue politician to me. Now she happens to fight for our side, and what Nancy Pelosi is good at, it's the same thing that Harry Reid and Chuck Schumer are good at. They're really good at like the nuts and bolts of politics, and that Nancy Pelosi, she can get shit done. She knows how to fucking turn the screws of government to get people to do what she wants, especially on her party. Like she's actually they often try and paint her as not successful, but she's actually very good at keeping those Democrats in line. She's very good at that, but that's not sexy and there's nothing that makes me cry. She's really good at working.
Okay, but you just said sexy and make you, it doesn't have to be sexy.
It's so fucking, dude. When I think about how fucking government works, I get so fucking hard. Oh man, I just want to just thinking about tort reform and just white papers, I just start stroking it. Oh.
I'm so uncomfortable right now.
I just think about it and I'm just like, ooh. You know what I say when I think about that? It makes me feel very just sexy and just American all at the same time.
Only in America now, a woman like me have a freaking chorizo!
Yeah, and at the end I'm just
BAM!
That's what you say when you come. Just go BAM!
When I think about things coming out of committee, like I put the cum in committee.
Oh God. Okay. All right. You're done. you're done. Okay, Ruth Bader Ginsburg.
Oh, yeah. Oh, when I think about fucking Ruth Bader Ginsburg.
Stop it! Oh my God. Okay, who else? Anybody else?
You know what? I'm being totally 100% on. If Barack Obama walked in the fucking room, I think I would be sobbing like a baby. I'm even kind of tearing up right now thinking about Barack Obama walking in the room.
Yes. Yeah. Hillary Clinton.
What about her?
Would you tear up?
I've actually seen Hillary Clinton speak before. No. But maybe because I've already seen her speak before.
Okay. I'm trying to think. As far as politics go, like Barack Obama, I didn't even think. I was thinking more of women, but Barack Obama would be one that I think I would be very overwhelmed if I actually got to be, that close to him, and he's talking to me. Talk about a magnetic presence. But I also feel I would so fucking. I will leave the show. I will leave the show, and you could do the rest of it by yourself. I was a huge Hillary fan, so I know that she's kind of. A lot of people have turned on her, but I still feel like she's better than what we have now.
Oh, when I think about politics.
Just wave at the screen when you're done.
When I think about redistricting. Ooh. Oh, when I think about Taylor's really not listening. I better wave. I took it off.
Okay.
I did talk about
your pants.
It's off. It's off.
All right.
Very good. But I'm gonna keep that handy. That clip.
I was gonna say now. I just handed you kryptonite, so that now we know.
Okay.
So gross.
Anyway, the point is, I don't get why they're crying. She's a normal politician, and I respect her, but I wouldn't cry. I just wouldn't cry. I didn't get that part. But again, they Lisa Kudrow'd her.
Oh yeah, no, it's clear that she probably did a what's the tea.
Yeah,
it's just I'm not completely familiar with. She's pretty safe as far as re-election and stuff, right?
Oh, for her. Well, okay, that's a trick question. In terms of her district, yeah, she is unbeatable in her district.
Oh, okay. I'm thinking of Dianne Feinstein because I know that.
Oh, yeah. Look, here's Dianne Feinstein. She's old and she's crazy. She's always been sort of a centrist.
Okay.
And she's now I think in the way times are, she seems sort of Republican-y. She's not, but she does. She have some sort of centrist views, and I think also like look. She's in her like mid to late 80s. I don't know exactly how old she is. Hold on, let's ask Siri how old she is. Okay.
Mm-hmm. I thought she's like 84.
Yeah. Hey Siri, how old is Dianne Feinstein?
Dianne Feinstein is 84.
Oh wow, look at you, Taylor the Latte boy, knowing how old Dianne Feinstein is. Yeah. So I think people are just like, it's over. Okay.
Yeah. Thank you for your service.
Thank you for your service. Let someone else in. And there's actually like this young politician who's been gunning for her shot, and he's like very charismatic, and they kind of want him to have it. Latino. Mm-hmm. So, all right. After Ms. Pelosi left the workroom, RuPaul announced this week's Maxi Challenge.
For this week's Maxi Challenge, you'll be playing important award-winning female characters, starring in the raunchiest girl comedy blockbuster of all time. The working title is My Best Squirrel Friend's Dragsmaid's Wedding Trip. Rolls off the tongue.
Okay, hey!
Now, our story features the most gag-worthy ensemble of characters ever. There's Sharon Frockovich, a busty whistleblower who fights the power. There's Her Royal Majesty the Queen. She's reigned for decades with the motto, keep calm and carry a big purse.
Oh, a dumb joke.
There's Octavia, the pie-making maid turned rocket scientist who doesn't take crap from anybody. And there's the beige swan, an unhinged prima ballerina obsessed with winning. And last but not least, there's Lala, a young actress singing and dancing her way to movie stardom. Now, Morgan, as a welcome back gift, you get to assign the roles.
Back at the workroom couch, Morgan McMichaels assigned the roles to the remaining queens. They were cast as follows: BB, the Queen; Morgan, Beige Swan; Shangela, Octavia; Kennedy, Lala; and Trixie, Sharon Frockovich. Neither BB nor Trixie were very happy about their character assignments.
I'm wondering why I'm being given the Queen. She's very uppity tight, very stiff, and kind of very unapproachable. I don't get it.
Morgan's like, what roles are you guys drawn to? And I'm like, well, I like this one and this one. And she goes, great, I'm gonna give you this other one. Not only do I not think this role's very funny, but it's a million lines. Also, I didn't want to wear brown hair.
All right, Taylor the Latte Boy, your thoughts on the people bitching, Taylor, about, your thoughts on Trixie and BB bitching about their roles in... Look,
BB made sense. The BB one made sense. I could see a little bit where Trixie is a little pissed, especially because she was kind of doing that whole I want the Black China, role from season 9. But BB is uptight and uppity and stuffy and just kind of aloof, and that makes sense to me to have her as the queen. The best part of that, though, was the looks on her face when Shangela made her comment and some of the kind of double takes and stuff. I giggled at those moments.
Now, there was a discussion on Reddit because all this stuff came out that we're at right now on the preview that came out earlier in the week. And there was discussion on Reddit because they heard it earlier in the week that maybe BB was saying it with tongue in cheek and that she knew that she comes off like that.
Oh, I think I so too. But yeah, no, I do think it makes sense. And the comments and stuff were very, well, I don't understand. It's sort of like when I say, I've been known to say here at home. As somebody who never gets dramatic, I'll say that to my husband, and he just kind of looks at me because everybody knows I do get occasionally dramatic about things. So I think that might have been why she was saying that. There was definitely a tongue planted firmly in cheek.
I don't know. She seems very she lacks a lot of self-awareness. I'm not saying you're right. I'm not saying you're wrong. That could be the case. But I wouldn't be surprised if it was the other way around. Whereas anybody else would have been, no, they're kidding. They're being funny. With her, I'm not really so sure. I could be convinced either way.
Yeah.
I'm not entirely convinced.
Ultimately, I don't care enough to find out if it was tongue-in-cheek or not. I mean, she's sort of...
Look,
kind of done.
I put a discussion point here because it's like, otherwise there would be no discussion points.
No, I know. I appreciate that.
So, during their filming with Ross Matthews, the girls all got a moment to try out their material in front of the director. Shangela and Trixie performed well, while BB was stiff and quiet, and Morgan was less swan and more ugly duckling. This left an awkward task for director Ross Matthews to give some direction.
Whatever you're going to do, I want you to commit to it. I mean, because remember Black Swan? She was kind of like...
She's a nut job.
You can make it campier. Just do it 100.
It's elimination day and the girls are getting ready for the penultimate runway. Trixie talks about the perception that she's not very nice to other queens. BB brings the bougie. Morgan is a nice drag queen, and Kennedy shares her frustration at the lack of recognition.
See, that's my whole purpose of being an All-Star 3. I want to be that girl. Because before All-Stars, it was like, oh yeah, and Kennedy's here, yay! Second thought, I'm trying to be that first thought queen.
Since season 7, when we are all booked together and we have a meet and greet and everybody be in line for them and I be by myself, and then 5 minutes before it's time to wrap, they want to rush over and grab a picture. That's what I mean by second thought.
All right, Taylor, do you have any thoughts on the clips I just played and anything I just talked about? I have some thoughts on what Kennedy just said, but I want to see if you have anything to say first.
The Kennedy statement makes me very sad. That there's something about that makes me sad and makes me angry for her. And I know that there has been a lot of talk as far as the way queens of color have been treated on the show and after the show, as far as if you look at their Instagram likes and followers on Twitter and stuff, they aren't nearly as high as somebody like a Pearl or Trixie or Katya, that sort of stuff. You know, I think it speaks a lot to continued racism in general, but also within our community, and people not necessarily appreciating the talent that, you know, love her or hate her, Kennedy's got some talent, and it just makes me sad for her.
Yeah, I was gonna say, you know, I've been to events, mostly DragCon, where all these queens are there, and you see, like, Kennedy went very far in her season, and now she's gone all the way to the end. Whether she wins or not, she's on every episode of All Stars 3. Okay?
Yeah, it's a good point.
And when you go to DragCon, she, like, when I've been there, like, she has nobody in her lines, and it's like people like the beautiful young white queens, or I don't want to say it's only because it's funny because as a Latino, you know, there's a part of me that goes, I want to say, there's a part of me that wants to say like, oh, and the Latinos too, but actually the Latinos get a lot of love. It seems to be like the Asian queens, not all of them, but some of the Asian queens and the Black queens are very much ignored.
Well, but I would assume the Asian queens, with the possible exception of like Jujubee and Manila.
Yes. Yeah, there's certain ones that have risen above the fray.
Yeah.
But like, for instance, I remember like Kimora Black's table was non-existent. I believe Gia Gunn is also maybe it might be different now that she has a much higher profile now. Mm-hmm. But like last year or the last couple of years, Gia Gunn's table was like very few people, you know, like, but yet you see again, like Pearl's a good example that like the lines around the block, or like, and you're like, she's kind of mediocre, you know,
which is, that's gross. There's something not to take away from Pearl, but when you compare the talent level of Pearl versus the talent level of like a Kennedy Davenport, I kind of see Kennedy as being the more talented and the more seasoned and the more, you know, everybody wants to fuck Pearl.
Yeah.
That's why everybody stand there, and they all think if they stand in line that at the very least they're going to get to, you know, take their picture with a cute boy or a cute drag queen.
Yeah. I when you go to DragCon, you see it. It's kind of sad.
I'm going to say something that's going to sound, it could potentially sound racist.
Mm-hmm.
And
go on.
Licking his chops, literally twirling his mustache. I am more fascinated, and I hope that I am more fascinated with queens of color than I am with white queens for the most part. I enjoy hearing their stories more. I feel like the level of work and everything that they do, there's something about it that's fascinating to me. And I think part of that comes from watching Paris is Burning, and, you know, just there's something about that I just find more interesting to watch. So my feeling is if I went to DragCon, I would probably want to spend more time with the queens of color than I would with most of their white counterparts.
Yes, I agree with you. I think when I go there, like I remember Stacey, again, times have changed. And so I want to see what happens this year, because I feel like Stacey Lane Matthews is a good example of her like profile has risen.
Yeah.
And so like, I remember the first year I went, Stacey Lane Matthews had like a fold out table and was just like you could just walk up to her. There wasn't a line at all, you know? But I think that's different now with the whole popularity of Henny and whatnot. I think that she's done a good job of marketing herself, but because I bet she's gonna be in a better position, have a longer line, and more people are going to want to see her. But it's been sad in the past when they've been, especially for like a Stacey Lane Matthews. Anyone like, or a Puerto Rican queen doesn't usually have as long a line unless they're like a very high profile one.
Yeah.
It's not the most pleasant thing to see. So that's something, you know, I was actually talking about this today earlier with my friend Sweet Michael, because I don't know, and I have no idea why. But I saw this Adam Rippon. I got not angry, but I got very troubled, and I couldn't articulate why. But I saw the clip of Adam Rippon talking to Reese Witherspoon on The Late Show with Stephen Colbert.
Okay.
And for some reason, it triggered me about and I like Adam Rippon. I'm a fan of Adam Rippon. I think he's very charming and very funny. And I think overall a very good representation of the gay community. But once again, it's a thin, white, cute gay boy, you know? Even to the point where even like he's more popular than this Gus Kenworthy, but he's also thin, cute, white, gay boy. And there is this sort of like, I don't even know if I would say it's quiet, but this, no one talks about the racism inside the gay community, sort of the white supremacy within the gay community. And this is a good example of where you see it is at DragCon, just right in front of you. And I feel it doesn't even want, the show doesn't even want to touch it. You know, they dance around it on the show and they'll say things like, oh, well, this queen's more, like they never said with Kennedy, like, because I'm a black queen, the black queens have this problem, but the black queens have this problem. Or like when a black queen's in a lip sync battle against a non-black queen, the next day, if the black queen wins, the next day the black queen has the N-word hurled at her, like horrible racism hurled at them. The next,
really?
Oh, you don't know about this? Yes, Nina.
No, I don't know. About that. Which is it's disgusting, but
yeah. Nina Bonina Brown has suffered greatly at it, like especially after Valentina.
I was going to say, I know after the Valentina thing, people were saying that she should have just, given up and let Valentina have it.
That's ridiculous.
But again, whereas Valentina is Latina, Valentina is also thin and cute and young.
Yeah.
Whereas Nina, you wouldn't necessarily say that. I didn't necessarily find Nina attractive as a boy.
Mm-hmm. No, you're right. And if you're attractive as a boy, then you get a, like, I feel like Chi-Chi DeVayne is a good example. Chi-Chi DeVayne is a cute fucking boy.
Yeah.
And I bet you gets a lot more love when he goes to DragCon. So
on a side note about Chi-Chi, we watched because we watched it on VH1. We watched the last 5 or 6 minutes of Ben going home last week, and the whole memes as far as the look on Chi-Chi's face standing in the background, where she's kind of got this puppy dog look on her face as she's watching Ben do. Mm-hmm. Have you seen that yet?
No.
It's worth it to go back and watch the last couple of minutes of the episode and not even focus on all of the other drama. Just focus on Chi-Chi's face. It is the most adorable thing you've ever seen.
I will have to go watch that. Okay, so let's move on, actually. Back on the main stage, we got our chance to take a peek at the film The Girls Maid. After the judges' critiques, RuPaul named Trixie Mattel and Shangela as the winners of this week's challenge. That left the remaining queens in the bottom. During the workroom deliberations, the bottom 3 girls took turns pleading their cases to Trixie and Shangela. Before they broke off into groups, though, the girls discussed their situations on the workroom couch. BB makes it obvious that she's never watched RuPaul's Drag Race, while Kennedy struggles with a common phrase.
You look like Ornacia, but like...
Who's Ornacia? I don't know who that is.
She's fully never seen Drag Race.
The mannequin hair girl.
BB won Drag Race and stopped watching it.
No, it's not that.
Girl, get ready. They gonna Mimi your ass to death, bitch. Wait, what is Mimi? You know how they, meme. Yeah, that.
That was a very, very cute, heartwarming moment for me.
Yes. And right now, Mimi I'm First is so excited because they're going to be plastering her face all over pictures for this episode.
Yeah.
Well, guess what, Mimi? We did. Mimi I'm First. Mimi I'm First was number 3 in the voting. I could not believe it.
Again, 2 great quotes. That's what it was so fun, because usually I would expect Kennedy to be really upset by what was going on, but she actually had a very good sense of humor about it. You're like, oh, they all get along, they're all friends, they're all having a laugh. And that was really heartwarming to see. I really, really, really liked that moment.
Well, those are my favorite moments in Untucked. I know that we're, coming into where they're going to start doing Untucked again. And those are always the moments that I think are the most heartwarming and the moments that you really kind of fall in love with the girls. So I'm looking for. I know you like the fights, but I like the kind moments between the contestants.
Well, look, there are some very famous kind moments. You know, one of my favorite moments is when Kennedy. Speaking of Kennedy, Kennedy is good for this stuff. It's not just the anger. In fact, I am going to play a classic clip. We have the time where it's this one right here, and this is another very bonding moment between the girls, and it's Kennedy again being kind of charming.
After a long night of hooking, Trey didn't like the session, so he had good at me.
Okay.
And set me on fire.
Oh, I see.
But you know, I didn't die.
Okay.
I had crystallized.
Oh.
And now I'm a glamazon bitch ready for the runway.
And that's just Kennedy, Ginger, and Katya hanging out in the Untucked Lounge.
Yeah.
And that's a great moment. It's like moments like that I really, really, really like. Back on the main stage, Trixie and Shangela went head to head in a lip sync battle for their legacies. The song?
Money don't make no money, but freaking money, you get the money. Cause freaking money, you get the money. Cause freaking money, 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 money.
Freaky Money by RuPaul and Big Frida. In the end, RuPaul named Shangela as the winner of the lip sync, which earned her $10,000 and the right to send one of the girls home. After a painful deliberation, Shangela chose Morgan McMichaels to get the chop. Taylor the Latte Boy, any final thoughts on the episode?
What were your thoughts on the lip sync?
I was very offended. I'm going to sue Shangela for portraying me on the lip sync.
It's funny you mentioned that because at one point my husband turns to me, he goes, do you think fat people are going to start talking about this on Twitter, that they're all offended and triggered? And I went, yep, absolutely.
Well, I wasn't really triggered, but you know,
no, I know you weren't. I know you were being silly, but there are going to be people out there that are.
Yeah, but there are people who get mad at everything, Taylor. We've learned that. You know, we could go out here. We could go here in a fucking diaper, and people would be like, "Oh, Taylor and Joe, you're fucking disgusting."
I was gonna say, "Oh, put some clothes on."
Yeah. So
no, it's whatever. But I thought it was awesome. It was funny, and it was. And I know that we talk about the fake RuPaul laughing at stuff. That looked genuine. She looked like she was having a very good time watching.
Well, look, of course, yes, she did. She did have a genuinely good time. But you're playing to RuPaul is like, this is RuPaul's wheelhouse, which is like singing her own songs back to her on her show as she's judging. And of course, she's amused by anything that happens. But it was genuinely amusing.
Yeah. She wasn't doing the fake hitting the table.
Yeah, like when she goes like, ah! Look, she's genuinely laughing. So, are there any topics or points that you want to make that we missed, Taylor?
No, I think this, we talked about donuts. We talked about Nancy Pelosi.
Mm-hmm.
We talked about the color red.
Yeah.
And we talked about a fat suit. I think we've pretty much hit. We've talked about queens of color.
So, but I do want to ask you about I'm looking at my notes here. Some things we kind of glossed over is, did you have any strong opinions on the actual movie itself? My Best Girlfriend's Dragsmaid's Wedding Trip?
No, it was dumb. It was dumb. Actually, no, okay, I do have a feeling.
Mm-hmm.
The whole thing at the end where they all farted, "Here Comes the Bride."
Yeah.
All I kept thinking is from season 1 where RuPaul is saying this is legacy work. And they're all standing there pretending to fart in unison to "Here Comes the Bride." I was just like, this is so not even remotely funny. I'm not a big fart joke fan.
Neither am I.
That's so it feels low hanging fruit to me.
It was not funny at all. What about not even worth talking about? They had a discussion about. Do you remember the story with Trixie Mattel and the WeHo Queens? And
no, they kind of alluded to it, but I'm not.
It was like
with that.
Last year at some point, and I don't remember. I'm sure someone who listens will fill me under the tea. There was some sort of oblique drama that all the queens knew what it was, but it was just sort of hinted at on Twitter that Trixie Mattel, who lives in Los Angeles now, was accused of being really cold and mean to the other West Hollywood queens. Now, as we know, West Hollywood queens are very cliquey, and they can also be very mean, but they were accusing her of being mean to them, and there was like this weird little war that she's acting grand, and she thinks she's better than everybody, and there was like a minor little war, I think a scuffle, and I think they made it up. Again, led by Detox, who has since left West Hollywood, now lives in Chicago. So they touched on that. What about the BB being bougie?
Well, I think I talked about that earlier, that BB is bougie. BB's definitely very bougie. But that's, again, BB is like sort of one of those, I know she's there, but I kind of forget that she's there until they show her.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I think Morgan going home, it could have been Morgan or BB.
Mm-hmm.
But I also kind of get that the 4 that are left that were there before Dela left, it makes sense for Morgan to go home just as them, because they wanted to be the 4 that kind of that have been through this whole journey together.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, Morgan, I'm not surprised that Morgan went home. Though, to be fair, on outfits alone for the runway, if that played a part in it, that should have saved her. Because again, favorite look of the season. Now,
did you see the preview for next week?
I saw that they have the judges or the jury panel or whatever, but they show it really, really fast.
Mm-hmm. What are your thoughts on the jury?
I don't really. All I know is I'm assuming they all have to go in and they maybe have to plead their case to the to the eliminated queens.
I don't know.
Is that okay? Well, I don't really have anything to say about it. I kind of was surprised that it happened in the workroom. The way, because I had heard that there was a jury thing. I had assumed that it would be almost kind of like where they sort of sit off to the side during like when they have the talent or the variety shows. I figured it would be something like that, and they would be part of the final runway and everything. But I don't know. Were all of them there?
I believe they are all there.
Okay, because I wasn't sure if Ben was a part of it or not.
Oh, well, Ben may be a part of it. There was a controversy this week where Ben de la Creme wrote on Twitter about, she's actually referring to the RuPaul trans issue, about how her partner is trans.
Right.
And she referred to herself as Ben de la Christ, and Shangela freaked the fuck out on her and says, "Don't make me say I'll clear the house or air the house out or something like that. Because you and I both know that you are not like Christ or something." And they settled it off social media. But some people speculate it has something to do with this upcoming episode, that maybe Ben is, votes against Shangela, or who knows? No one knows what's going on.
You also have to remember, this all happened a year ago. These girls have seen each other a million times in between. There's going to be drama that happens that nobody knows about, because I know that Aja said something too. Aja's, were you sure it was Shangela, or maybe it was Aja said something?
No, it's Shangela on Twitter.
Oh, Aja said something on Twitter too that alluded to, "You want me to spill the tea? I'll gladly spill the tea." And then I saw that Ben kind of backtracked with the whole, when I said Ben de la Christ, I was just playing along and all that kind of stuff. So, well, I don't know. It's also middle school, but we all can't get enough of it.
No, we cannot. Well, that concludes this week's episode of RuPaul's Drag Race Recap. Make sure to tune in this week and every week as we discuss, dissect, and deconstruct every new episode of RuPaul's Drag Race All-Stars Season 3. So, for Taylor the Latte Boy and myself,
sashay away. Until next week.
Want to share your thoughts about Drag Race? Email us at dragracerecap@gmail.com. If you want to help the show, leave us a review on iTunes. The more positive reviews we get, the higher we move up in the rankings, and that helps the show find a bigger audience. If you want to help the show even more, support us on Patreon at patreon.com/dragracerecap. For as little as $1 a month, you gain access to exclusive bonus content not available on the main podcast feed. For up-to-the-minute news about the show, follow us on Facebook at facebook.com/dragracerecap and follow us on Twitter at dragracerecap. To find all of our old episodes, visit us at our website at dragracerecap.com. Taylor has his own podcast. It's called Pod Is My Co-Pilot, and you can find it at podismycopilot.com or wherever you get your podcasts. You can follow Taylor on Instagram and Twitter at PIMCTaylor. Want to hear me talk about Drag Race even more? Well, then listen to me on One-on-One with Larry Flick every Friday at 2 p.m. Eastern, 11 a.m. Pacific, exclusively on Entertainment Weekly Radio, Channel 105 on Sirius XM Radio. You can also find me on my other podcast, Catching Up with Mike and Joe, available at catchinguppodcast.com and wherever you get your podcasts. Finally, follow me on Instagram and Twitter at Joe Betance, that's JoeBetance.